speed. We have heard throughout the afternoon multiple keynotes talk about the future and where we are going with the number of devices being connected. Sharing some of the data points that is published by IDC, that in just the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a massive explosion on the devices that will be connected to the internet, and we could potentially reach around 50 billion devices. But the reality is, we have seen that majority of the prediction about how the world will be shaped due to technology fell much shorter than where we are today and how technology changed our lives. Data is one of the biggest accelerator to a lot of the transformation that we are experiencing today. Let us take a look back and see how we got here. I remember when I had my first computer at home, that computer luckily had some connectivity. But guess what? That connectivity was unlike anything that we have today. It was based on dial-up, 2400 bits per second. And some of you who had the dial-up technology would remember that I had to choose between taking a phone call at home versus continuing my unbelievably slow browsing on that PC. Fast forward to the day today, I have fiber to the home that is connecting my home at 200 megabit per second. Can you imagine what has happened to us and to the connectivity and to the transformation of the devices that we are carrying in our pockets? In 30 years, a lot of things has happened. Although many of you might remember that the internet really is not only 30 years old, is much older than that. But why is 30 years the mark that we talk about? Any would like to shout an answer? We're a small crowd here. Yes. World Wide Web. Excellent. Yes, that is exactly the reason. So let me take you through a differentiation. What has happened about 30 years ago was the introduction of the World Wide Web, where while we were having connectivity to devices, we did not have the platform that allowed us to innovate and communicate. And the World Wide Web, with the introduction by a computer scientist back in 1989, Bernard Lewis, actually marked the beginning of the evolution and revolution that we are seeing throughout the internet. So what started as a platform to provide email and probably some searching and exchange of files has transformed to where we are today. So that was the first step of the internet. And then now that we had a platform that allowed for all this connectivity, that moved to become the platform which transformed how we do commercial transaction, and therefore the evolution or revolution of the e-commerce. And then we moved into the social media, which has transformed on how we communicate as humans using this platform. And today we are talking about the Internet of Things. Moving beyond just connectivity to humans, to socialize and communicate, to actually moving beyond connectivity of smart devices to connecting anything. From trees to airplanes, from cars to even doors at buildings and homes, to everything in between. That's what we mean when we start talking about the Internet of Things. Today, actually, talking about connectivity, majority of airlines, while you are on board, are offering you certain level of connectivity for free. Who could have imagined that moving from a world where the connectivity was scarce to a point where not only we are connected on Earth, we are also connected while we are flying. This change has been fueled because of the technology. But many of you know math, that when we start talking about equations, if I had an equation that has one single variable, so if I say x plus 5 equals 10, that equation is considered to be very simple, yet has a single variable. But as we start putting more variables into the equation, those equations become even more complex. When we start looking at technology, and we start adding those trends that are fueling this acceleration of change, but also fueling the disruption that we are experiencing, now that complexity and speed and scale go into tetrational speed, if you will. We have heard throughout many keynotes this morning, or this afternoon, actually after 1 o'clock, that some of those technologies were 5G, Wi-Fi 6, augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, explosion of data, big data, and so on. I would like to just pick a few of them that actually impact the Internet of Things. Now, why are we talking about Internet of Things today, when actually not that long ago I told you that it was unbelievably prohibitively expensive to just store 1 megabyte of data? Well, there are a few things that are very relevant to the topic of IoT. Number one is the reduction and the massive reduction of the cost of compute. So when we start looking at a reduction, as I mentioned today, where just 50 years ago we had to spend 7 figures so that we can store 1 megabyte of data, today just any small device, extremely cheap device, we're able to actually get it in a few dollars in terms of storage. So reduction of the devices that we are carrying enabled us now to have those sensors as well as actuators that are at a very low cost, which ultimately will allow us to really connect anything at any time. Anything of value, we would be able to connect it, and we would be able to bring value out of it. The other piece is the mobile connectivity. Whether we talk about 3G, 4G, or whether we talk about 5G, which I want to spend a few moments on, or we combine that with the Wi-Fi within the enterprise or within the building, those combination of things enable the ability now to connect anything and everything throughout the day and throughout the night. We have heard about 5G. I think there was a full session about 5G. 5G, I think the name is a bit deceiving because it's really not the next generation after 4G. 5G is above and beyond, not only because of the speed it brings, not only because of the low latency it brings, not only also because of the slicing capability that it provides, but it's because now when we combine it with Wi-Fi 6, it enables us to use software-defined to enable limitless possibilities in terms of the applications that can come on top of the network, hence creating tremendous opportunities for innovation and creativity on how we can transform our lives. The belief is, and the prediction is, that as we connect more and more to the network, the value is going to increase tremendously. But now we actually have the enablers. I think we heard in the afternoon that there were talk about some of the obstacles facing IoT. It's just like with the exponential function in the very, very early phases. We see, for example, if we see this doubling function 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So initially, that function seemed to be very small. But soon enough, after you hit the inflection point, it goes into infinity. And you can look at that and actually try it, where you would see that how when we reach an inflection point of any function, what will happen is we will go beyond even any prediction. And we believe at this point, in terms of connectivity, machine to machine, and the things that are being connected and transformed on the internet are reaching that point. And again, the forces that accelerating that level is really, number one, the reduction of cost of the hardware. Number two is the mobile connectivity, which is now beyond hyper-connected, available everywhere and anywhere, all the way to, like I mentioned, which is available to us on the, even all the way on the plane. Furthermore, today the world has transformed into a single community. If we look at the world population with nearing about 8 billion people, we are almost beyond 58% of people that are connected to the internet. And you can easily imagine and start unleashing the imagination where all of the ideas that we have had as humanity, they were combined ideas. We learned from each other, and the combination of the ideas that we together as innovator on the internet brought together allowed us to even accelerate further, where 1 + 1 is not really equal to, it's way beyond than that. And today, the mobile connectivity for this is actually almost 67%. So we're looking at people, even in many cases, they don't even have homes, proper homes. They don't even have proper sanitation or drinking water, yet they do have smart devices and they have connectivity. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is really leading the way when it comes to creating the digital platform, whether it's from the internet connectivity, from the mobile reach, and as well as from the mobile availability. Today, the kingdom actually, it has taken giant step toward leading regionally as well as globally in building the digital platform. Now let's double click and take a look at IoT. When we talk about IoT, we're talking about, number one, the I, which is the internet, and how we bring those devices, whether they were smart or non-smart, things that talk or they don't talk. But then we start talking about things. But the question is this really enough? Is this really sufficient? To us at Cisco, we believe in order for us to generate the value, we have to go beyond IoT and really go towards IOE, or Internet of Things, Internet of Everything. The Internet of Everything is about bringing people, processes, data, and things. When we bring those together, we are really creating massive and tremendous value. Actually, there was a complete session right before the break about the artificial intelligence. By the way, artificial intelligence is really not a new phenomenon, and it's not a new study area in the computer science. Artificial intelligence has been in the study for almost about 60 to 70 years in work. But today we are hearing more than ever about artificial intelligence. And the primary driver to talk about artificial intelligence is, well, definitely the reduction of cost of hardware, but really the biggest driver is the availability of data. Because when we talk about artificial intelligence, as the name mentioned, A is artificial, and therefore, you know, it's basically, it's not real, so it has to learn from something. So it has to learn from a real thing, right? From human intelligence. And therefore, if you don't have the proper data set, if you don't have the proper data bank, if you don't have the proper context on which those machines can learn from, then you will not be able to develop artificial intelligence. And then we think that when we bring this IOE together, where it brings people, processes, data, and things, we're able to generate that tremendous value that we aspire for. I just want to give you an example of how when we augment the capability of human with the capability of the machine, we can do magic things, right? So historically, we used to use either the horses to travel around, or we would use camels to travel around, or we would use the ships in the sea that manually operated to travel from one place to another. But when we invented the machine, that machine enabled us to go above and beyond where we have reached the moon, and beyond that even we have reached Mars, where we have sent the Pathfinder, which is now remotely controlled, a machine that's walking on the surface of the Mars, where we are capturing images and conducting certain tasks. Similarly, when we start talking about technology, when we augment the capability of human with the capability of machines, we are going to generate tremendous value. So Internet of Everything is about bringing the capabilities of people, processes where we create massive transformation and optimization, with data, which is going to allow us really to transform the machine that will augment the capability of the human, and finally, of course, the things, which is basically we are going to connect every one of those things. The role of IT, hence, is actually transformed tremendously. IT are not like they used to be before. The IT department was created to actually do certain information technology, right? So it would create the data center to host the application. They would create the network to provide connectivity. And then they would do security, but also they provide capability to do voice, video, and integrated data and exchange of files. But today, they have been asked to actually do a lot more than that. They are supposed to be responsible also for connecting electricity, for connecting the lights, for connecting the doors and do access control, for connecting everything that we are talking about. And as we talk about Internet of Things and Internet of Everything, those are now expected to connect all of that and secure it, but also connect it at speed. And every time the business decision makers come to them with a request, they are supposed to cater with that request. And guess what? Every year they are asking them to reduce cost and deal with complexity and deals with threat and handle the explosion of data. For example, me at my company, we have moved from using and owning one single device to about today 5 devices that I have with my company, where they're all of them connected to my network, and all of them I conduct businesses on them. So basically, those are under tremendous pressure, and they are expected to deal with that. We at Cisco believe that we as a technology company would like to transform and to really create capability and provide the tools and the automation that are required to transform the IT department, if you will. I think I have 6 more minutes, no? Is this wrong? I can wrap up if this is wrong.
20 minutes.
I'm good? Okay. All right. So we at Cisco try to, our philosophy towards the network is very simple, enabling any user using any device to connect to any to reach any application on any network at any time, and therefore expand that from any user to any device to basically anything that is connected to the network. And therefore, security is essential. The security that is not only dealing with smart devices like PCs and mobile phones that we are carrying in our pockets, but actually expanding all the way to those sensors and actuators that have no intelligence and whatsoever, that we need to be able to secure them. And building an infrastructure that is supposed to deal with this massive explosion of devices and numbers from actually tens or hundreds of devices to actually moving to millions of devices. Finally, we at Cisco believe that in order for us to accelerate the pace of innovation, we have to create a platform for innovation. So what we have done is we have created this platform which allows the capabilities, and this is basically the term that I have introduced with, which is creating opportunity for all. We have created this definite platform that allows anyone at any time to register and connect to the systems and to the platform and start innovating and developing those ideas that will allow us to accelerate cybersecurity, accelerate Internet of Things, accelerate artificial intelligence, and bringing the value of data.
Thank you, Mr. Osama. I'm afraid we are out of time.
Okay. With that, thank you very much for your time. This was all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Osama.
Thank you.
العرض القادم سيكون عن تعريف مستقبل التصنيع. المتحدث هو الأستاذ كريم مجدي من شركة الأبيكان.
to get connected, so we get these insights, and we get optimized based on that. But there is a very important point, and this is essential in our case, that we need to understand the value we are bringing through this digital solution. So we need to get organized. We need to understand how our value is looking like. We need to understand what does visibility means for me. A common question that you usually get, is it better to get MES solutions or a SCADA solution or asset performance management or field service management? A clear answer for that is that there is no answer. It depends on you. It depends on your own business case. You need to understand your business model. You need to understand of your value stream. Where is your supplier? Where is your customer? And in between, what are the losses that are happening here? And then you design the exact solution that you need in order to take off or take away your losses. But some people will say, okay, maybe this applies in a very sophisticated plant in Germany, or we can see this in the United States. But the answer is no. This exists today within our premises in Abaikan. We have our industrial innovation hub. We are connected 200 plus machines that are sending terabytes to the cloud. We are having millions of data points. We are having machines that are literally speaking to the operators and asking operators what to do. We have 300 dashboards, and we are having tens of thousands of KPIs that are automatically monitoring our business. So that's a few examples of what we have within our premises. We are having machines that can tell you where do you need to focus. So if you're a plant manager coming today to your manufacturing facility, you don't need to ask your operator, where do I need to focus? The machine will eventually tell you that you need to focus in machine number X because this machine is bringing the highest loss to the company. So it's not by downtime, it's not by overall equipment efficiency. We are talking here about value. We are talking here about a business case. We are having a machine that is telling you how the day shift and night shift are operating and how different people are operating the same machine. And that's the question. Why will the machine perform differently with different operators? Our machines are telling us this. Our machines are telling management on how to manage their own machines. We are having machines that today, by the end of every shift, it will tell you how the financials are going like. Are you making a profit or you're making a loss? We are having machines that are able to identify failures before they happen, that are able to extend the life of spares, and they're able to monitor every single parameter. In the manufacturing, we say that the machines talk. It's up to you if you listen or not. So there's no machine that suddenly fails. The machine will give you abnormal vibration, the machine will give you heat, or the machine will give you noise. If you're able to detect these things before it happens, then you will be able to understand when the machine will fail and avoid this failure in the future. We are having the first model of having machines assessing the operators. So machines are assessing the operators in Abaikan. We're having the machines that are deciding the bonus that every operator will take. We are having the machines that are saying which operator is promotable and which operator is not. And this is 100% automatically. No human is touching the operator. So in Abaikan, from the lowest grade till grade of 16, no operators are managing this. I'm sorry, so we're having a complete interaction with people. So machines assess operators, machine propose what are the trainings that are needed for the operator to perform in order to improve his things, and deciding the compensation accordingly. Is this the end of the journey? The answer is a clear no. What we're doing over the last period is trying to digitalize and automate our operation. We're getting things, and now we're looking for more scale. We did few successful projects here outside of Saudi Arabia as well. And now we're looking on how to get scalable solutions. So we are developing our industrial apps that can be used within the kingdom or even outside of a platform that is able to digitalize all your operation and send it to the cloud. We're having 100% auditing applications that are able to audit every single transaction and identify internal audits and opportunities. We're having industrial logistics application that are able to track your operation and tell you the exact losses you're facing. So, is this a sort of science fiction? Am I just getting videos that exist on PowerPoint? What I'm telling you today is that we brought to you here in the IoT conference 2 plants live. So our factories, our manufacturing facilities, we connected the manufacturing facilities to the IoT conference. If you go to our booth in the IoT, you will be able to see 2 manufacturing factories live. They are operating. If a failure happens in the factory, you will see it on the screen. You'll be able to see how people can understand their factories and understand the value of digitalization. That was. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer. Any questions? Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you today. Thank you.
الآن سنتحدث عن التأمين وإنترنت الأشياء. المتحدث هو الأستاذ أمين بشر من بكير. الأستاذ أمين.
السلام عليكم. معكم محمد البشر من شركة بيكير. أحب أعرف عن نفسي. احنا في شركة بيكير، هي شركة في قطاع التأمين، هي موقع أجريجيتر لعمل مقارنات ما بين شركات التأمين في قطاع الموتورز وفي قطاع الصحي مستقبلا إن شاء الله. هذا قادنا إلى تطوير الخدمات التقنية والدخول في قطاع إنترنت الأشياء، يعني من خصوصا في قطاع إنترنت الأشياء من المتوقع أن تتجاوز قيمة سوق إنترنت الأشياء إلى أكثر من تريليون خلال الأعوام القادمة، يعني حيث وصل قطاع إنترنت الأشياء عدد الأجهزة المتخصصة في قطاع إنترنت الأشياء حاليا أكثر من 30 مليار جهاز. وتلاقي هذه التقنيات رواجا كثيرا من قبل الشركات والمستخدمين على الرغم من التنبيهات المتنامية إلى مخاطر الاعتماد عليها. السؤال: هل السعودية جاهزة لإنترنت الأشياء والتقنية هذه؟ يعني نقدر نقول لدى المملكة بنية تحتية متكاملة مقارنة بمثيلاتها من الدول في منطقة الشرق الأوسط، يعني حيث تحتل المملكة المرتبة الرابعة عالميا في الجيل الخامس. لدى وزارة الاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات 8 مراكز ابتكار. أنشأت الحكومة هيئة سعودية للبيانات والذكاء الاصطناعي. لدى المملكة تقريبا أكبر تطبيق في العالم في إنترنت الأشياء في مشاريع الطاقة، أعتقد هو كان في مشروع الطاقة. تسعى دائما باستمرار مدينة الملك عبد العزيز للعلوم والتقنية إلى التوافق وتسريع تطبيق الإنترنت الأشياء خصوصا في المنشآت الصغيرة والمتوسطة. كل هذا يعني يدل إلى أن المنطقة خصوصا السعودية تقريبا جاهزة للانطلاق في هذه التقنية، على العلم على التحديات التي تواجهها وسرعة التغيرات فيها والمخاطر التي تواجهها. خلال الأعوام الماضية انتشرت عدة تطبيقات متصلة بالإنترنت قادرة على مراقبة نشاط المستخدم وحالة الصحية وسلوكه في قيادة المركبة، وكذلك الأماكن التي يتردد عليها. لذلك احنا سعينا كيف ممكن احنا نستفيد من هذه التقنية في قطاع التأمين. ابتكرنا وحاولنا نبتكر إلى ريبورت يعمل على تحليل البيانات وتقديم النصائح في قطاع التأمين الصحي وفي قطاع الموتور المركبات، حيث نسعى حاليا إلى تطبيق باستخدام تقنية الGPS يساعد شركات التأمين ويساعد المستخدمين على المنفعة المتبادلة، حيث كثير من الشركات وكثير من الأفراد يعاني في التأمين من ارتفاع التكلفة. التقنية وجدت لتسهيل وتخفيض بعض التكاليف، منها استخدام التقنية الGPS تساعد على تتبع كثير من المركبات وملاحظتها في بعض الأشياء، في الوقوف الخاطئ، في السرعة الزائدة، في دخول بعض المناطق الجغرافية والخروج منها، نوعية الحوادث. كل هذه البيانات تتحلل وتحقق المنفعة له، فتساعد كثير من شركات التأمين والأفراد على الوفرة. بالنسبة لشركات التأمين هذه تقدم لهم بيانات تحليلية وتقليل عمليات الاحتيال وتحقيق منفعة ربحية لشركات التأمين، فهي مصلحة متبادلة ما بين شركات التأمين وما بين المستخدمين. شركات التأمين تقلل عمليات الاحتيال وتقليل تعويض الضرر، بالنسبة للمستخدمين توفر لهم نسبة خصم على وثائق التأمين بنسبة تتجاوز أحيانا 30%. كذلك بعض الاستخدامات مثل طائرات الدرونز وهذه الأشياء المستخدمة اللي نتوقع لها رواجا في الفترة القادمة، وهي تحليل بيانات المركبات. كل هذه ستصب في صالح القطاع التأمين بشكل عام وقطاع المستثمرين خصوصا في قطاع التأمين وتقنية المعلومات. نتوقع في المستقبل بإذن الله تعالى سيزدهر أكثر قطاع التأمين بالدخول في إنترنت الأشياء، سواء في قطاع المركبات، في القطاع الصحي، سواء القطاع الصحي في تتبع في مثل على سبيل المثال لبس الإسوارة الصحية اللي تقيس الحالة الصحية للأشخاص. كل هذه ستساعد على ازدهار قطاع التأمين، ولكن التحدي الأكبر هل الناس وهل السوق سيتقبل هذه التقنية؟ هنا تحدي كبير لكثير من الموانع. الناس تعتقد أنها هذه خصوصيات، ما زلنا في السوق يعتمد على خصوصية المعلومات ولا يريد أن يشارك فيها جهات أخرى، وحتى لو شارك فيها جهات مثل شركات التأمين يخشى تسريب تلك المعلومات. فما زالت هناك كثير من التحديات، لكن نتوقع لها ازدهار إن شاء الله في الفترة القادمة بإذن الله. احنا مستثمرين في هذا القطاع ومؤمنين فيه أكثر، وإن شاء الله يعني نتوقع له في ظل الظروف الحالية والبنية التحتية المتكاملة في السعودية ازدهار أكثر بإذن الله تعالى. أشكر لكم وقتكم وأدعوكم إلى زيارة معرضنا للاطلاع على أكثر تفصيل من بعض المنتجات التي نقدمها في مجال إنترنت الأشياء. شاكر لكم استماعكم، شكرا.
السلام عليكم. سنتوقف الآن لأداء الصلاة، سنعود إن شاء الله بإذن الله في الساعة 4. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم مرة أخرى. موضوعنا الآن هو المفتاح السهل لإنترنت الأشياء. المتحدث هو الأستاذ محمد شهرزاد، وهو من شركة تيليون كيا. I would like to invite him to the stage to present his presentation.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, let me correct the company name. Our company name is Teltonica. So my name is Hassan, and I'm representing Teltonica today. When I was preparing for this event, I was pretty sure till this time, all of people will be full in their mind about IoT, about devices, about future, and everything. I decided to go with topic called Easy Key to IoT. And why the topic is decided? Because our company slogan is also Easy Key to IoT. Why? Because we realize that when we work with the partners, with the solution providers, many people are not coming to IoT still. The reason, because it looks complicated. Why look complicated? Example, today we are in IoT event in Saudi Arabia. You can see how many companies are participating here today, and in actual ground, how many companies are into business. So people are still working on their traditional solution, and they don't go with IoT. Why? It looks complicated. Sometimes people don't have clarity solution they are looking for. End user are confused that what solution they need in their demand. So what we are doing as a hardware manufacturer, our job to make it easy for our solution partners that how they can achieve their need by using and creating the unique solutions. There are some challenges when we talk with our solution partners. And challenges are, first, finding the right opportunity. As you know, being commercial people, it's very important that you need to have the right opportunity where you can talk with your customer and create something for him. And when you have opportunity, it's very important that you should have the right solution, which should meet the client needs. And majority of cases, sometimes opportunity, but you are not having the right solution. And when you have right solution, the third thing is cost. Example, you have opportunity, you have right solution, but you are not coming with the client budget. So what happened? Hard to move forward. Fourth one is installation. Why I'm talking about installation? Because I'm coming from a hardware manufacturer, and we have seen in many cases when some solution provider is promising his customer, and when they're deploying the solution on the ground, it's very important that you are delivering the right solution to your customer, which you agreed with them first meeting. Example, giving a presentation about solution. When you deliver the solution to customer, it's not matching, or there is some serious error in that. So what will happen? it will be very hard for you to continue with that project. We talk about complication. So what's the solution for complication? From our point of view, if you think like your customer, if you think about your client, if you think about their problems, if you think about their challenges, that what problem they face in their day-to-day life activity, how they can enhance their operations, how they can increase their productivity, that will help